We like to play and experiment with different instrumentation all the time. We always try to shoot for something that we didn't do before. So it's always a surprise for us too.
We first worked with Misha on Underground, and when we heard about Lovecraft, we immediately knew that we wanted to work on it. We had a number of conversations over a fairly long period of time, and then we're lucky enough to be hired for the incredible gig.
When Misha mentioned Gothic, R&B, we have so many different instruments. We just kind of come back to the vault and just start picking things that we think that fit.
I think on this one in particular, we got to really work with an orchestra. And I think Misha wanted that.
And then we just sort of added different things that we thought that Misha would like, that really what we thought was she had shot could hold up in a piece that big. It was a very big piece.
Every episode sort of was a different movie, and she was really clear about that. But in addition to that, I think she wanted something that felt Lovecraft. That's something that she kept bringing back. This needs to feel like Lovecraft. Like, do something like Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it needs to feel like Lovecraft. So it was this always combination of finding something that was unique to the episode and then adding the orchestra into that to sort of give it that large-scale cinematic feel.
The technical part of it was the most important part during the pandemic. Laura actually hooking up with an engineer, a tech guy, and talk about actually doing string sessions at home with people in the house and actually miking things up correctly.
Yeah, and strings and woodwinds and brass. But
right.
A show holds together, I think, by its thematic integrity. And we had that. Every episode has its own character, and so the integrity of the thematic writing is even more important because you've got to follow your characters and you've got to keep all of that together. I had written the theme because we were in separate spaces by then, and Raphael said, "I'm going to send you over some ideas," and I said, "We're dumping it. We are dumping it. If we can get away with this is a franchise theme." Because to me, it sounded like some cool Raphael version of Twilight Zone. You know, da-dee-ah-dee-ah-dee-ah-dee. There was this loop to it, like this thing just going on and on and on. And then I added orchestra and played with it and added this kind of classicism to it, because they're coming upon this ridiculous house with ridiculous people, but when they come on that house, it needed to have these kind of classical gestures to it. That particular theme is the really apex of, I think, Misha's original concept of the Gothic R&B. We had like 4 versions of that theme, none of which flew. We wrote a bluesy one, we wrote a sexy one. Oh, no, nothing. None of them flew. And finally in episode 4, when Montrose is telling Tick, "You write her a song," and this father who he has really big issues with. I mean, that is not a great father-son relationship, but in that moment, I think we came up with, da-da-dee-ah. I love that theme. It's really beautiful.
Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Cinnamon, where you gonna run to?
Alice Smith, we're all fans, first of all. Laura called me and said, "You should call her and see if we can get her to sing the theme, to sing the song." And I was the one who had to make the phone call. And she said, "I would love to do it." And anytime you can get a chance to call Alice Smith to sing on anything and you're in the studio, it's a gift for everybody.
We went through a couple of versions of that because Misha wanted us to do a Lovecraft take on Sinnerman. And so I sat down and did the piano part, which she played. It's unbelievably hard to play, right? So I looped it. Because it's like That I can't. It's like I can't play that for an entire thing like Miss Nina
Everybody's
did.
looping now, so don't feel like
Everybody
you
looped it.
they are looping.
And then I sent it back to Raphael, and he added his magic to it.
Take my hands. Form a circle. And don't let go. No matter what.
I think one of the unsung heroes of the score are the woodwinds, which are really like a big
Powerful.
presence. And
Yeah.
because of the way that we recorded the score, think about scoring an orchestra in a large scoring space. That basically the woodwinds are not as loud, so you have to think about it differently. Either they're doubled, but in this case, everybody was individually mic'd, right? And so you had the bass clarinet or the contra-alto clarinet, which is even lower, became this fantastic double for low brass. So whereas you think about Monsters, you think about low brass, in there was also bass, which Raphael played, and incredible, like these bass clarinet and other low woodwinds that just made it sound a little weirder. Episode 109, Misha had put in a Sonia Sanchez poem, Catch the Fire, and I thought that we should do something for the generational victims of Tulsa. And so I suggested that we should make a requiem and create a piece of opera. I reached out to a friend of mine, Janai Brugger, who's a gorgeous, gorgeous singer, and also because her husband is an awesome musician and a recording engineer, because guess what? It's a pandemic, and now suddenly it's not just like a woodwind player, we're recording an opera singer, which is a whole nother level of recording prowess. And she said yes immediately, and so we collaborated on creating this piece of music, and having that poem heard twice during the course of the episode, I think was really extraordinary.
Sister, sister, brother, come.
We both have a high respect for music, and we both love film. The musician thing is something we've had our whole life. Now we just have to figure out how to apply it to this thematic look of this, beautiful footage that we have in front of us. Every time it's a new challenge, and we both respect it, and we're both up for the challenge every film we work on.
I think we respect each other, and I think we allow each other to go to unexpected spaces. I love that about working with Raphael. We come from completely different musical backgrounds, but we find some space in the middle that is, I think, super cool.